Winning feels good. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. After losing my first race for Newark City Council in 2002, I came back 4 years later in 2006, and I won. But looking back, the most important lesson wasn't that I finally won an election. It was something I learned afterward. Winning an election doesn't make you successful. What you do with the opportunity does. Let me explain. When I won my city council race in 2006, the voters of Newark's West Ward gave me something much more important than a title. They gave me an opportunity to serve, and I wanted to use it. So during my time on the council, I sponsored legislation designed to make it easier for rehabilitated former prisoners to find employment. Why? Because if we tell someone they've paid their debt to society, but then make it nearly impossible for them to find legitimate employment, we shouldn't be surprised when some people end up back in the criminal justice system. I work to reform Newark's pay-to-play laws because people should have confidence that government contracts are awarded based on merit, not political contributions and favoritism. I helped create commissions to ensure communities had a voice in city government, including Newark's LGBT and African and environmental commissions. We worked on building housing in places that hadn't had housing built in 40 years and expanding traffic calming measures to make neighborhoods safe. And I became the first Newark councilman to use the council's investigative authority to investigate a city department, the Newark Police Department. And that wasn't always comfortable. But here's another thing winning taught me. Holding office isn't supposed to be comfortable. You're there to ask questions. You're there to challenge the system when necessary. And you're there to represent people who may never have access to the rooms where decisions are actually being made. Winning also gives you a platform. And sometimes leadership means using that platform before everyone else thinks it's safe. In 2007, a relatively new United States Senator named Barack Obama decided to run for president. And a lot of political leaders were waiting. They wanted to see whether he could really win. I didn't wait. I became the first elected official in New Jersey to endorse Barack Obama for president. Why? Because sometimes leadership requires you to make a decision based on what you believe, not based on the latest poll or what everyone else is doing, especially in New Jersey at that time. And then something happened in 2010 that meant a great deal to me personally. The voters reelected me with more than 80% of the vote. Now, I was proud of that number, don't get me wrong, but not simply because I won. It meant that after 4 years, people had a record they could judge. They had seen me govern. They had seen the votes. They had seen the legislation. They had seen where I stood. And overwhelmingly, they said, keep going. And that's different from winning the first time, right? The first election is often about what voters believe you might do. Re-election is about what voters believe you actually did. And that's one of the greatest lessons winning taught me. See, winning isn't about the title. It's about the opportunity the title gives you. An opportunity to change a law, to challenge something that's wrong, to give someone a voice, to take a political risk, to leave something better than you found it. And eventually, every elected office has to leave. The office belongs to the people. You're just borrowing it for a while. So if you're fortunate enough to win, do something with it. Because years later, people probably won't remember your campaign slogan. They won't remember how many yard signs you had. They may not even remember the margin of victory. But hopefully, they'll remember what you did, what I did, when they gave you the chance to serve. And that's what winning taught me. This is Rice and Reason, the thoughts of a former elected official, law school graduate, and current husband, father, and advocate, sharing practical insights on politics, culture, education, faith, and leadership. Subscribe to my channel, like and share the content, please. And remember to think, it ain't illegal yet.